Hello and welcome to the Walt Weekly Podcast. We are going to do part 2 of our interview with Mr. Terrell Rhodes. I hope y'all guys enjoyed part 1. The feedback was tremendous, and it was just awesome. I mean, this guy is, what can I say? He's a stereotype for success. Okay?
Yes,
he's the typical guy. All right. So I'm here, of course, with Mr. Rhodes, and I'm also here with Bridget Stokes, our co-host, and our brand ambassador in North Carolina. Y'all got to reach out to Bridget. And if y'all want to say something to Bridget, you can reach out to her via email at waltweekly@gmail.com. Miss Bridget Stokes, please reach out to her and tell her what you want to hear. And so what are some topics that we have not covered up to this date. So let's move on. As I said, this is part 2. And Mr. Terrell Rhodes, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, we got through the storm. That was a good thing.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah. I was really worried about North Carolina because my niece, Bridget, she was saying that, that her lights went out. She's in Raleigh. So her lights went out and this and that. So I was a little concerned about her. And
it was pretty bad here. Definitely.
Yeah, she came through good.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
You came through good, apparently.
Yes, sir. Yep. Definitely blessed.
All right. Excellent.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. But, I was worried about her. Then I had to worry about myself for the next day. Because I'm on Long
Yeah,
Island.
because that's right. It moved up north the next day, didn't it?
Yeah. Came right to Long Island. I'm sitting here, oh, my goodness. And it was for a long time. It started like maybe 1 p.m. on Friday into like early Saturday morning. The winds were, I had branches come down and my lawn was messed up. But anyway, I digress. All right. So in part 1, we covered everything up to legal and personal struggles. All right. Including that. So I want to talk about your mind shift recovery.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, so basically, as we, as you mentioned, as I was going through my times, one of the things that I did take a lot of put a lot of time and effort in was reading a lot of books, and one of the main books that was kind of the center of my readings, of course, was the Bible. And I began to study different kingdom principles, things that as it relates to the biblical principles and things that can definitely give me a better viewpoint. One of my main scriptures, that kind of generated this mindset shift was Romans 12:2, and it says, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so I really, really dove down into that scripture, and it just kind of was the foundation of the mindset shift, and I really got a strong revelation about the fact that if I could just begin to shift my mind, everything else will follow. And like I said, I began to look at that word renew, to make my mind new again. So that means I had to kind of develop new thought processes as it relates to the way I was doing things, my lifestyle, the life that I wanted to live in the future. So I had to kind of reprogram myself, and the way I did that was basically downloading new information into my mind.
So you went through what we call a reset.
That's a total reset. Like I said, and I didn't realize, because once you're doing some things for a long time, over time it becomes your norm, and you don't realize how flawed your thinking process is until you actually start to challenge it with truth, or actually start to challenge it with a whole different, with another way of looking at certain things. So unless you're willing to be open minded and willing to challenge your current mindset and your current way of thinking, you can remain in that flawed thinking, for time, and like for quite some time, and years could pass, and
Right.
we could want new things, but we won't realize that we'll never be able to attain those new things because our mind isn't changing. Like our desires may be changing, our wants may be changing, things of that nature. But until your mindset actually shifts, until you actually start thinking differently towards things, nothing in your life will ever change.
That is correct. And I wish they would also, that's something that we need to push. I've been trying to push it, but I haven't been, really, they would have, really clear, no clarity. But,
Right.
People need to sit down and really think about the path that they're on currently.
Absolutely.
All right. And then take a look back in retrospect at what they've done. And has that worked? If it hasn't worked, then you have to sit down, just like Terrell said, and there's a mindset that needs to be changed.
Absolutely.
If one mindset doesn't work, you try another one. I'm not saying to be, just willy-nilly changing your mindset for no reason, but you have to be able to justify that too, right?
Absolutely. And I think, like I said, one of the biggest things that because I also did, I've done personal training as far as with the physical body, and I tell my clients that it's important that we do a total detox as it relates to your body, and sometimes you have to take a mental detox because from all of the bad information that's around us, via social media, peers, different conversations, what they're showing us on the television. Our mind is constantly being downloaded with all kinds of information that may be contrary to the direction that you want to go. And so sometimes you have to really just sit back and look at and really take a self inventory of yourself and just kind of look at the way you're thinking towards things, and you will see certain patterns that really need to be challenged in your life. And until you're ready to have those tough conversations with yourself, you're gonna always be in that flawed state. Because, like I said, that and if you're not putting the positive information to kind of combat the negative, because negative is always around. One thing about negative stuff and negative information, you don't have to go and look for it. It's always present. Social media is teaching us, how to what's cool, what's not, how to dress, what's beautiful, what's not beautiful. So many things.
Yeah, what's the bad step?
Exactly.
Today?
Yeah. So negative information or things of that nature is always going to be present. So we have to be intentional and putting the right stuff in our mind, to really enforce that mindset shift, to really get yourself thinking on a consistent basis, to get your thinking in alignment in the direction that you want to go.
All right. Now, I don't want you to disclose any personal information around this, but what constituted a mindset from you? What did you go to from this to what? So basically, could you explain that?
Absolutely. So, like I mentioned, kind of in part one, I went through a period of life where I kind of did everything I did was about me. It was about what made Terrell feel good and what's going to make Terrell happy at this moment, and
you're
not taking it right. Exactly. Basically. So, and not taking into consideration how it affected anybody else. But the foundation of my mindset shift really kind of now I think on the terms of, okay, how can I impact somebody else's life? How can I make somebody else's life better? What are things that I need to be doing to advance the kingdom? Like, I'm very kingdom mindset. Like, I think about things from a holistic point of view, not just from a temporary standpoint, because I understand that things of the kingdom was going to last. I don't want to start preaching right now, but things of dealing with kingdom, that's what's going to last. So when I shifted that mindset to become more kingdom minded, I noticed that things became, I had more direction. I had more, there was more of a sense of urgency and also a level of confidence to be able to walk and kind of take on different tasks in life, because I understood what I was doing it for. I had a new why, per se. You know what I'm saying? So basically, now I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I understand what I want the outcome to be. I understand that every day is not going to be easy, but when you understand that why, it helps you push through those struggles. It helps you push through those tough times. Because, like I said, if it's all about you, it's easy for me to give up when I know that I'm only doing this for me. Because if it's about me, it's like, okay, if this doesn't work, I'll just go try something else. If this doesn't work, I'll go try something else. If this doesn't work, but when you understand your purpose, the calling that's on your life, who you're supposed to be in life, who you're supposed to be impacted, the things that you're supposed to be doing, it's not so easy to just walk away from those things. And so that helps keep you grounded. It also helps, helps you navigate, because like I said, life, like, I went from point A to point B, but it wasn't easy. And sometimes I talk about it and it seems like I'm an overnight success, whatever the case may be, but it wasn't easy. I've had a lot of dark times. I had a lot of struggles, but like I said, when I understood my why and I understood the purpose of why I need to accomplish certain things, then it helped me navigate those struggles a lot better.
Okay. Now, before we move on to entrepreneurial journey, when your businesses were doing well, when you set them up and they're doing well, but before that, how was it when you first, got out and you were trying to get a job? Could you just spend a little time talking about the difficulty that you faced when you first got up?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I faced, the normal things that anybody else would have felt on their record faces every day. Like, so basically, I've been denied jobs, where I was experienced enough. I had, everything that it take. But then when it gets to the point, let me run your background. If you pass the background check, we'll hire you. I never got past that point, and so I understood, what it feels like firsthand, to be judged based on a period of your life that, hey, yeah, I made some bad decisions. You know what I'm saying? And I paid for that. But now I'm trying to go down this path now where I'm on a straight and narrow. I'm doing things the right way. I want a shot, but nobody will give you a shot just based on that specific period of your life. So that was definitely, it was definitely a trying time. But like I said, and at that point, you really have to you're really going to be tested. You're going to really be tested. I think that's in that moment, that's where you will find a lot of repeat offenders, because you have a decision to make. Am I going to go? But now I can't. I try to get a job. I try to do everything that, everybody that loved me, they was telling me to do. My family saying, okay, don't do this, don't do that anymore. Go get a job. Okay, I tried that. Nobody's hiring. So now, but at the end of the day, I got to eat. At the end of the day, I got to do certain things. So that's when you get to that place. You've got to make a decision. Okay, am I going to go back to what I know, or I'm going to just, try to figure something else different out, or I'm going to get to the point where I'm not denying my future. So you got to make that decision. And sometimes, it's hard for everybody to make that same decision to not go back to what they know, because like I said, you're faced at that moment, with a whole bunch of no's, a whole bunch of no's.
What do you call that? I think that's what called when they go back. Recidivism? What is that the term?
Don't quote me, but it does sound right. Yes, sir. Right? It does. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can. Go ahead, Bridget.
I was going to ask Terrell, and I know you have probably said it before. So if you were, let's just say, meet a young man that's in his 50s, maybes, and he's had those issues of failure through the making bad choices, how would you tell even a person at that age where to start at? Because they feel like they're older. I've met a lot of, I have cousins and family members and people, neighbors that I know is around their age, and they've made mistakes, but they never seem to know how to bounce back. I know sometimes it's a faith walk, and it also is a perseverance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's definitely a faith walk. And again, and perseverance play a major role in it. But my first piece of advice is, don't be afraid to recreate yourself at any given point of your life. And sometimes I think the older you get, you develop into this person, into this individual who you think you are, and your mind is not open and willing to try new things, and so that puts a limitation on you. And you may have been living your life one way, and like I said, certain struggles or certain trials and tribulations in your life have affected you to be able to have affected your ability to kind of continue living that way. So you have to now find, okay, what can I do? What am I able to do? And, what do I like? What do I enjoy? What things bring me joy? And so you can, and be open to that. And like I said, and once you start rediscovering who you are as a person at that particular point in life, then it'll help you navigate to the next phase of your life. And so I think one of the biggest things that, especially with people that are kind of a little older in age that kind of experience some of the same things that I've experienced, is that you just become accustomed to how you've been living, and you don't know anything else. Like, this is all you've known all your life, and you're kind of afraid to look and see what's on the other side. So that comes with, again, being willing to renew your mind, make your mind new again. And whatever that comes with that, you just got to be willing to do.
Excellent.
Right. Excellent. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, the audience would, that's a
very
gold.
Encouraging.
That's a gold nugget for the audience, I tell you that.
Yes.
All right. Now, we talked about challenging dark times, ministry involvement, family and early marriage, military experience, etc. Right? I want to now move on to the entrepreneurial journey that you're on and you've been on, and the companies that you started, such as Empyrean Enterprises, LLC. Let's talk about that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So and so again, I became an entrepreneur. I tell people all the time, I became an entrepreneur on accident. Okay, so when I came I've always had the entrepreneurial mindset because, like I said, even in my career, it was always things dealing with sales. And if you know anything about sales, it's kind of a you're pretty much it's gonna be based on what you do. It's not like your money never look the same every day. So you have to kind of develop this business mentality. So I've been developing this business mentality all along, just based on my previous careers. But like I said, but when I got out of prison, I was kind of forced into entrepreneurship because, like I said, I couldn't go back to the career that I've known so long. And what happened was when I first came home from prison, I wanted to be a general contractor installing satellite dishes. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to work for a company installing satellite dishes. I applied for the company. And the company told me, hey, I told them I had, listen, I just got out of prison. I got a couple of fans on my background. They said, okay, well, we should be able to work with you on that. So I applied for the company. They said, okay, now we want to hire you, but in order for us to hire you, you have to go get this general liability insurance. So I go buy the general liability insurance. I buy that. I set myself up and I tell them, I said, listen, I got the general liability insurance. I'm ready to start work. So after I invested my money on this, now mind you, I didn't have much because I was just coming home. I was trying to find my way again. So I asked them, I said, listen, man, I got my liability insurance. When can I start? So they said, well, I apologize. We did another background check on you, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to move forward with opportunity. Man. I was devastated, and so, but I was devastated, and so, but the thing is, one of the scriptures that came to my mind at that moment was God said, He said that I'll order your steps. I took a step forward, I didn't realize it. So so I left. So I was kind of devastated from that moment. So I said, well, I started doing pressure washing a little bit, some small jobs, pressure wash, just kind of generate some kind of income. I reached out to a company that had a pretty large contract that was available, and so I talked to him. I said, listen, I want to position my business to pretty much extend pressure washer services for your company. The gentleman said, well, let me put you in touch with my regional manager and see if we can put it together. And so, they had a cold conversation. They said, listen, man, the guy that we had previously, he's not getting ready to leave anytime soon. So just check back with us in about 6 months. Okay. So maybe a week later, he called me back. He said, hey, listen, are you still available, to take this contract? I said, yeah, definitely. He said, because the guy that we thought that wasn't going to leave for 6 months, he says all of a sudden he wants his workload smaller. So he only want a few of the locations. We want to give you the rest of the locations. I said, okay, cool. Oh, nice. So he said, listen, man, but the thing is, he said, unfortunately, we're gonna have to do things by the book. And I know a lot of our black business owners don't have all the documentation that they need. That they don't have all the insurances and the liability stuff out the way. So we'll help you get through that. So once we get you through that process, it may take a little longer, but we're gonna eventually get you started on the contract. And so I looked at him. I said, hold on, wait a minute. Is this? So I sent him the same certificate that I had just purchased for the satellite contracts. The point of contact I was speaking with, he told me that I know a lot of the black business owners just don't just getting started off. They don't have all the documentation in place. He said, man, but I can we'll help you get through all that process. But I had just but the document that they needed was the liability policy, which I had just purchased when I was trying to get the satellite job. So even though I didn't get that satellite job, just by me just kind of going after that opportunity positioned me for the next best thing. And so when it's time for me to lock in this contract, I had everything I needed, so I was able to start immediately. And so from there, that was the kind of foundation of my entrepreneur journey. Like I said, so that was the first contract that I landed. Once I was released out of prison, and like I said, that contract was worth about 6 figures. Wow. And so that definitely changed my entire life. And from there, I began to, I started working that and began to take funds from that, began to invest into other things, and everything just kind of took off from there.
I've always told my kids, and that this is very important. You want to be positioned, all right, to avail yourself of opportunities that may or may not come.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So if you're not positioned, when the train comes into the station and the doors open, you fumble it around and the train leaves the station.
Absolutely.
You have to be positioned to avail yourself of opportunities, to take advantage of opportunities that come your way. So whatever you got to do within your field to make sure that you are positioned properly, that's what you do.
Absolutely, and that's actually one of my mentoring pieces that I use all the time. We hear the saying, the one way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time, and that's real. And a lot of people we're looking for the big outcomes.
Yes.
But when I talk to people, I realize that you haven't even taken the smallest steps yet. So it's just like I talk to people. I do, like I said, I do repair. I do credit repair. I do mentoring on financial success and things of that nature. And like people come to me, hey Terrell, I want to buy a house. You know, what do I need to do? Like what do I need to be doing? I said, okay, have you even checked your credit score? So like no, okay, so you haven't even done the foundational
things. That's the first thing you're going to do.
Absolutely,
you know whether you got credit.
Right. So we need to know where we're starting from. So again, so like I said, so you may not have all the answers, in whatever endeavor you want to do, whether it be business wise, from a financial standpoint, even from a relationship standpoint. You may not have you're not going to have all the answers, but work on the things that you can control. Some of the smaller things, some of the foundational pieces that you need to have in order. Start getting those things ready, because that's going to position you for when the opportunity, when opportunity presents itself, you'll be ready.
Yes, you got to always be ready.
Absolutely.
All right. I mean, whatever business that you're in, you need to know your business better than your competitor.
Absolutely.
Because there's always a competitor out there. So you have to ensure that you know your business.
There you go.
All right. Another thing, we talked about your businesses, but let's talk about the businesses that you gave to your kids. You got 5 kids, and you said you purchased an LLC for all of them, and those businesses are ongoing concerns. Could you just talk about 1 or 2 of those businesses?
Yeah. One of the main ones, like I said, my son is actually he has his own self-care line. And so and he's doing, like, he has the oils, body oils, soaps, things of that nature. And the thing I like about that particular son of mine is that, like I said, he's always had that work ethic, that he always wanted to work for himself. And so we were able to kind of put something in front of him, that he was able to use his gifts and his God-given abilities to kind of be the best version of himself. Like I said, even he has gone through a lot of trials and struggles in life, but he's had to persevere through a lot of things, and he's done just that.
Okay.
And so, like I said, and now he's very successful. He has his own store in the Raleigh Mall, so he's doing really well. Yeah, he's doing really well for himself.
What's the name of that store?
It's called it's called Amari Self Care Products.
Amari Self Care. How do you AMARI?
Yes, sir. AMARI Self Care Products.
Oh,
so,
okay,
you
that's
can find it right there in Crabtree Mall. So he, like I said,
in
he's
the
doing really
Crabtree
well.
Mall. Hey, y'all guys hear that? Yeah, please go out and check that store in the mall in Raleigh.
Yeah.
Crabtree Mall.
Crabtree Mall, and all of his products are all natural. That's kind of his biggest selling point, and I'm telling you, they're loving all of his products. He has a lot of things to for women, for men, all kinds of stuff. So definitely go see him.
All right, let's patronize my brother. Okay, y'all guys heard that. It's also going to be in the show notes.
Yes, sir.
So if you forget, check the show notes in this episode. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, let's move along here. You talk about family legacy.
Yes,
in
sir.
2018, you gifted your children with their LLCs. What inspired you to do this, though?
So my thing is, I think that, of course, I one thing about it is that I really think that we should be able to leave something to our children. But I wanted to go a step beyond just the traditional life insurance, things of that nature. If something was to happen, that things I get that. That's a foundational piece. We definitely need that. But at the same time, I wanted to give them tools and information. That at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like they'll always be able to prevail in life. And I think that with information and the right tools, there's nothing that'll be able to stop you. So I want to make sure that in the legacy, that I want to make sure they have enough information on how to not just, how to just to access funds, but to be smart stewardess over certain things, and to actually, leave something to their children. So because if I give them the information, they pass it on. That's, to me, that's valuable. and that can't be taken from our generation. So, and like I said, even one of the business that I have is called Generation Auto Sales. That's kind of the forefront of what's dear to my heart. That's leaving a legacy, making sure that one of the biggest things that I want to create wealth that runs 5 generations deep, and that's my biggest thing. And so, in order to do that, I understand that I can't do it on my own. And so if I'm empowering my children, like, they're going to also help me create this legacy. And I think sometimes, we don't, it, in teaching kids, with me personally, I've seen certain things that if you give them, if like there's a certain level of hunger and certain level of zeal in our youth.
Yes.
And if you put the right information in front of them, if you give them the right things, begin to put the return on that information is phenomenal. And so I've seen that firsthand. And one thing about it is that I know that the streets are going to do their job, but the thing is, by the time the streets get to any of mine already going to have the foundational things to, okay, I hear what you're saying, but the path that I'm on right now, it's not worth me giving this path up to follow anything that you're saying. And so it puts my children in a whole different, and I'm not saying they haven't done anything crazy, because they're kids, I get it. But what I'm saying, but for the most part, the foundation is there. It's in them. Like I've taught them the way not only have I taught them, I've shown it to them. They've seen that, like I said, they seen my struggles firsthand. They actually had to endure that time while I was away from them. So they've seen the things that I've gone through, but they also seen the bounce back as well. And so in the midst of that, I think that really added a value on what I have to say to them. Because when I talk to them now, I'm talking to them from a place of experience, a place that, listen, I've been there. So you can stand on my shoulders. You don't have to go through the same things to get where I'm at. You can stand on my shoulders, take this information and run with it.
Well, see, that's always been my mantra, right? My mantra is, my kids stand on my shoulders, and their kids stand on their shoulders. And
absolutely.
That's all the way down the line.
Absolutely.
Okay. And that's how you run into generational wealth. That's what you want.
There you go.
We
Yes,
need it as people. As
Absolutely.
African Americans, we need that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, all right. So let's change over a little bit. Now, you had some recent achievements, milestone achievements, right? 2023 was a significant year for you. You founded Generation Auto Sales, and your son signed with the Green Bay Packers.
Yep.
So how do these achievements reflect your journey and your growth?
Oh man, it's been a blessing. And actually, and also with the Generation Auto Sales, I was actually even my same son. I also brought him in as a business partner as well on that. So that's the thing that's really dear to me. It's really hard to find great business partners, but I can say, hey, I raised mine. So
there you go. It's in-house. You can't beat
in-house. Yes, sir. So that was amazing. My son signed with the Green Bay Packers. That's been an amazing experience. He's actually still on his journey right now. So like I said, he's currently not with them, but like I said, but he's going to be playing football professionally somewhere right now. We just don't know. But like I said, but he's still working. So that was definitely an achievement. I was at his.
Definitely.
So I went to his preseason game, the third week of preseason last year, and I mean he had an amazing game, catches, a lot of yards, and one of the catches was like for 52 yards, and just
what
to hear
he plays, wide receiver.
Wide receiver, yes sir, and to hear everybody screaming his name, and I'm like, man, it was just like it was a tearjerker for me. I was sitting in the stands. And one of the guys that was sitting by me, he's like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "Man, that's my son that just caught that ball." He was like, "Wow."
You can't beat that, man.
Yeah, he's like, "Wow."
Awesome.
So we kind of had a moment, man. So
awesome.
Definitely, man. Definitely, God has definitely been really good to myself and my family. I can't really, I don't have any complaints. I think that if I had to do it all over again, I don't know what I would change. It's just, I mean, because everything that I've been through, everything played its role in my life, and we know where we are today. So,
all right.
Yep.
Okay, since you got all these companies and this and that, I'm looking for a black job. Do you have any?
I do. I do. I do. But let me say this, Mr. Walt. I don't, and maybe and people may sound wrong. So I don't really like to use the term black job. I'm not really fine with like the black business owner, because that's what I am, right? I get it. and I'm going to create jobs. I'm going to create some jobs. That's a given.
Right.
But at the same time, I think that if we do a really good job at business, we don't have to uh lean on the crutch. Okay, because and that's nothing wrong with the term by no means. But I think a lot of black
Yeah,
business. Yep. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Where did that originate? Where did the term black jobs originate when it comes to immigration? You heard that, right?
Right.
That's something that Trump said, you know.
Yeah.
Black journalists that were about the black jobs.
Right.
I've never seen a black job.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. That's what I was going to get to. That's what I was going to get to. And so, but the thing is, to that defense is that I think that in business, a lot of black business owners have kind of used it as a crutch, as to kind of cut in corners. Okay, so I expect certain things from you because you're a black business owner, or I expect you to come support me because you're black and I'm black. And that takes away from the quality of how you do business. Because if you're doing business the right way, you're going to be successful, whether you'll be supported by blacks, whites, whatever the case may be. And the same thing about creating jobs. At the end of the day, I'm going to create jobs for the best person for the best person that's going to fill the job, regardless of.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's not about, and it's not about now. And I understand that people. But the one thing that I do have as a business owner is that I'm not going to be the type of person, whereas, okay, because you had a felony 10 years from now, I'm not going to hire you because I know how that feels. So I'm able to judge the character of how you are now. You know, what credentials you currently have, how you can positively impact my business now. And so, and if you can help grow this business now, then guess what? You're a good fit.
There you go. If you're an asset, if you bring value,
absolutely
value add. That's the key.
That's the key.
To anybody out there, if you're looking for a job, you can start your own business. You got to look at what value do you bring to the table.
Absolutely.
Because everything is about that.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Because the thing is, nobody's going to do business with you. This is for all my young aspiring business owners. If you're selling a product or service or whatever the case may be, if there's no value in what you're doing, don't expect anybody to buy it. Like and if they don't, and the thing is, there may be value in what you're doing, but they may not know about the value. So you have, it's twofold things. Sometimes you have to create the value. You have to show your potential customers that this is the value in doing business with me, or unless your product's just good enough to just speak for itself.
Well, I think that's what we approach podcasting too. What value do we bring our audience?
Right.
We are a podcast that's a social podcast, meaning we look at things that impact the Black community, the African American diaspora. Okay. And what do we bring? Information, number one.
Absolutely.
Number two, we debate certain positions, all right, on both sides of the issue. We try to do that. But the most important thing is that our listeners be able to take away from every podcast that we do.
Right.
They have to be able to take away something.
Yes, sir.
And we strive very hard for that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's part of our mission. And that's why we started this. That's why I started this back in 2019. I retired in 2018, messing around the house, fumbling here, doing that, playing golf, this, that. But there was no purpose.
Right.
You know what I mean? No more than, that's leisure stuff.
Yes, sir.
But what am I going to do to give back? I've been blessed in my life.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I worked all over the world. I've traveled all over the world. I was able to provide for my family. That is what I was put here to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, so I have to make sure that every episode that we publish, the Walt Weekly publishes, brings some kind of value. I'm not saying every episode is going to meet that, from head to toe, but we definitely try.
That's I tell you what, that's a good foundation, Mr. Walt. I mean, because at the end of the day, that's what a lot of our communities is lacking, information. And so if you can get information out, that they're gonna be. I think everybody will find value in what you're doing, because, like I said, you're really positioning yourself, and as well as your platform, as a strong informational piece. To our culture, to the things that we that we believe in. So I definitely I applaud you. I applaud you. Yes,
Well,
sir.
thank you, Terrell. I applaud
Yes,
you.
sir.
You're the man, though. I'm not.
Oh,
I'm just a little squirrel out here,
Oh
trying
no,
to
man!
give
Oh
out some
no!
nuts.
Listen, no, that
You
what
know what
you're
I mean?
doing, man. It's phenomenal. Yes, sir. It's
I
phenomenal. Because
appreciate
I
that.
mean, at the end of the day, my information, without your platform, certain ears will never hear it. So so we need platforms. Every speaker, every person that has something to say needs a platform. And so you're creating that platform. So that's an amazing thing that you got going on there.
I appreciate that, Terrell.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate that. All right, folks. So that's Terrell Rhodes, businessman extraordinaire. And we want to talk about some mentoring. So I want you to come back and let's just focus on mentoring.
Okay.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that's it. And I want to thank everybody for joining the Walt Weekly Podcast. This is Walter Latham. Please, if you have any questions or you have some topics that you want us to cover, just contact us at thewaltweekly@gmail.com. That's thewaltweekly@gmail.com. And as I said, we're on all major streaming platforms, all of them. You can find the Walt Weekly Podcast. All right. With that said, please subscribe and like this episode, and subscribe on Facebook, especially to the Walt Weekly Podcast. We have our own Facebook page at the Walt Weekly. So please go on there and subscribe. All right. So that's it. And I wish y'all guys a nice and happy week. All right, Terrell, that's it. Thank you so much. I'll be in touch with you.
Thank you for joining the Walt Weekly. We can be found at Facebook, the Walt Weekly Podcast, Twitter at Walt Weekly, Instagram, the Walt Weekly, and www.thewaltweekly.podbean.com. Please like, follow, and share.